A man regained consciousness in the hospital, and when he heard his wife talking on the phone about his inheritance, he immediately decided to play dead. Alex walked through a dark and narrow corridor, feeling a sense of oppression envelop him with each step. In the distance, a door appeared faintly illuminated, like a beacon in the distance. Shadows danced around, whispering secrets he couldn't comprehend. Suddenly, a bright flash made him squint, and a loud noise echoed in his ears, like the echo of distant voices. A deep and rumbling voice told him he had to return, that his time was not over yet. He felt an invisible force pushing him forward, bringing him back to the world of the living. He opened his eyes slowly, disoriented and unable to move his muscles. The white, cold light of the hospital room momentarily blinded him. As his senses returned, Alex tried to remember how he had gotten there. Fragments of happy and painful memories mixed in his mind, creating a tangle of confusing images. Gradually, he began to recognize the familiar sounds around him. The constant beeping of machines, the murmur of hushed voices, and the sound of someone speaking nearby. With effort, Alex slightly turned his head and listened intently. The voice of Kate, his wife, resonated clear and strong. It was a voice he had known and loved for years, but now it seemed tinged with an unfamiliar coldness. Kate was speaking on the phone, her tone confidential and calculating. "Yes, the inheritance will be ours very soon," Kate was saying. "We just have to wait a little longer. Everything will be in our name. Don't worry, Charles. Alex is not going to wake up." Alex's heart stopped for a moment. The betrayal and pain flooded him. The woman he believed loved him, the woman with whom he had shared his life, was planning his demise to keep his inheritance. He felt a wave of anger and despair, but also an unexpected clarity. He had to pretend to remain unconscious. He had to uncover the whole truth and protect what was his. As the conversation continued, Alex knew that his decision was the right one. Kate and her lover, Charlie's, were conspiring to steal everything he had built. The pain and disappointment were overwhelming, but Alex found a spark of determination within him. He would not let them get away with it. While pretending to be unconscious, Alex watched every detail, listened to every word. He knew he had to stay alert and strong to face what was coming. Kate's betrayal was a devastating blow, but also a call to action. Finally, Kate hung up the phone and approached Alex's bed. Feigning concern that he now knew was false, she caressed his forehead and whispered words of comfort. Alex maintained his facade, fighting the urge to confront her right then. He needed time, he needed a plan. With a wounded heart but a clear mind, Alex prepared for the long road ahead. The battle for his life, his inheritance, and his dignity had just begun. Kate visited Alex in the ICU every day, always with a concerned expression on her face, but Alex, now aware of her betrayal, saw beyond her act. He observed how her eyes shone with a coldness that had previously gone unnoticed. Kate made sure all the medical equipment was working properly, and occasionally whispered words of love in his ear. But Alex no longer found comfort in her voice. He only perceived falseness and calculation. One day, while Kate was beside his bed, her phone rang. Alex tensed, anticipating another revealing conversation. Kate looked around, ensuring no one was nearby, and answered in a low but hurried tone. "Hello, Charles," she said, her voice filled with a warmth she never used with Alex. "Yes, I spoke with the lawyer. Everything is in order. We just need to wait a little longer." Alex felt a pang in his chest. Charles was not just a lover. He was his business partner, someone he had trusted blindly. Hearing his name in that context made the betrayal feel even deeper. He struggled to remain still, fighting the anger and pain that threatened to give him away. "Yes, darling," Kate continued. "Once Alex is no longer here, we can proceed with the transfer. There won't be any problems. Everything will be in our name." Alex closed his eyes tightly, trying to control the surge of emotions that overwhelmed him. He felt a mix of rage, sadness, and renewed determination. He had to stay strong. He had to keep listening. Every word that came out of Kate's mouth was another piece of the puzzle he was forming in his mind. Kate ended the call, and as if nothing had happened, turned to Alex with a tender smile. "Everything is going to be fine, love," she said softly, stroking his hand. "Soon you'll be better." Alex remained motionless, focusing on his breathing. He knew he had to continue pretending. He had to keep gathering information. Every visit from Kate was an opportunity to learn more, to plan his strategy more precisely. The following days were an emotional torture. Kate kept visiting him, always with that mask of concern, while Alex listened to her secret conversations with Charles. Every word, every gesture, reinforced Alex's conviction that he had to do something to stop them. One morning, as the sun filtered softly through the room's curtains, Kate entered with a genuinely worried expression, or so it seemed. Alex wondered how much of her performance was real and how much was pure manipulation. Kate sat beside his bed and took his hand. "Love, the doctor says you need time, but I know you're strong. I know you'll get through this." Alex looked at her through narrowed eyelids, feeling a mix of disgust and sadness. The woman he had once loved, the woman he had once trusted completely, was now a stranger, a traitor. That same afternoon, when Kate left the room, Alex had a moment of introspection. He remembered the good times, the happy moments they had shared, but now those memories were tainted by betrayal. He had to stay strong for himself and for everything he had built. Determined not to be defeated by sadness, Alex began to plan his next move. He needed allies, people he could trust, and he knew that Elena, the doctor, could be one of those people. With renewed determination, Alex prepared for what lay ahead. He knew the battle had just begun, and that he had to be ready to face Kate and Charles with all the strength and cunning he could muster. Dr. Elena visited Alex regularly, checking his vital signs and ensuring he was comfortable. She was a dedicated and observant woman, and gradually began to notice small changes in Alex. Subtle movements, like a blink that seemed more conscious or a slight movement of his fingers, aroused her suspicions. One afternoon, while adjusting Alex's monitors, Elena noticed that his eyes followed her movements. It was a minimal change, but significant. She decided to stay a few more minutes, discreetly observing. "Alex," she said in a low voice, almost a whisper, "if you can hear me, move a finger." There was a moment of tense silence, and then, to her amazement, Alex's index finger moved slightly. Eleanor felt a surge of emotion and relief. She knew she had to handle this situation carefully. From that moment on, Eleanor began visiting Alex more frequently, observing his responses to simple stimuli. With each visit, her suspicions were further confirmed. Alex was conscious, trapped in his own body. One afternoon, while reviewing his medical records, Eleanor decided to speak directly to Alex. She approached his bed and leaned in so her words wouldn't be heard by the monitors or any curious ears. "Alex, I know you can hear me. If you're conscious, I need you to give me a signal." With visible effort, Alex managed to move his finger again. Elena smiled, a smile full of hope and determination. "I'm going to help you, Alex, but you need to trust me." Days later, while Kate was absent, Elena took advantage of a moment of privacy to have a deeper conversation with Alex. "I've noticed you respond to my questions," she said, keeping her voice low. "I'm going to ask you some questions, and if the answer is yes, move your finger. If it's no, don't do anything." Alex, with renewed strength, moved his finger to indicate he understood. Elena began asking him about his condition, and finally about his situation with Kate. With each movement of his finger, Alex told her his story of betrayal and pain. Eleanor felt a mix of indignation and compassion. "Don't worry, Alex. I won't tell anyone. We're going to get you out of this, but you need to recover first. I'll keep your secret." From that moment on, Elena became his silent ally. She began changing Alex's routine, introducing small exercises to strengthen his muscles without raising suspicion. Each day, Elena and Alex communicated more efficiently, developing a code to exchange crucial information. Meanwhile, Sophia, the young nurse, continued to provide emotional relief and care to Alex. Although she was not aware of Alex's conscious state, her words of encouragement and constant presence gave him the strength to keep going. Kate continued visiting Alex, unaware that her husband was conscious of every one of her movements and conversations. Her cold and calculating attitude became increasingly evident to Alex, who used these moments to strengthen his determination. One day, while adjusting Alex's IV, Eleanor leaned in and whispered, "I'm investigating how we can expose Kate and Charles. I need time to gather solid evidence. Trust me, Alex. We're going to make it." With that promise, Alex felt a renewed sense of hope. He knew he was not alone in this fight, and that with Elena's help, he could face Kate and Charles's betrayal. The silent alliance between Alex and Elena grew stronger each day, setting the stage for the confrontation that would change their lives forever. The relationship between Alex and Elena had strengthened over time. Elena had proven to be a reliable ally, and Alex trusted her completely. As his strength increased and his body responded better, Alex knew the time to act was approaching. He needed to communicate clearly with Elena to formulate a detailed plan. One afternoon, when Kate had left the hospital, Elena took the opportunity to have a deeper conversation with Alex. She closed the door to the room and approached his bed with a serious but determined expression. "Alex," she said in a low voice, "we need to talk about how to proceed. If you're ready, give me a clear signal." Alex, with visible effort, firmly moved his finger. Elena nodded and began to explain her plan. "First, we need to make sure Kate and Charles don't suspect anything. I'll keep up the appearance that you're unconscious while we gather evidence against them." Elena had been discreetly reviewing Alex's financial and legal records. She had found irregularities that could be used as evidence. She had also recorded some of Kate's conversations when she thought she was alone. "I have some recordings and documents that could incriminate them," said Elena, "but we need more solid proof to ensure they can't escape the consequences." Alex listened intently, his heart pounding. He moved his finger to indicate he understood and agreed with the plan. Elena continued, "I'm going to contact a trusted lawyer. We need someone who can handle this discreetly and ensure that your inheritance and business are protected." With each passing day, Alex and Eleanor fine-tuned their plan. Eleanor had contacted the lawyer, who agreed to help without revealing Alex's true situation. Together, they began preparing for the confrontation that would expose Kate and Charles. Meanwhile, Sophia, unknowingly, played a crucial role in maintaining Alex's emotional well-being. Her regular visits and attentive care provided a respite in the midst of the storm. Sophia, always smiling and optimistic, was a ray of sunshine in Alex's life. One morning, while Kate was away, Eleanor brought the lawyer to Alex's room. "Alex," Eleanor said softly, "this is the lawyer who will help us. We need your confirmation to proceed." The lawyer, a middle-aged man with a shrewd and understanding look, approached Alex. "Sir," he said respectfully, "I'm here to ensure your interests are protected. If you agree, please give a signal." Alex, with a firm and determined look, moved his finger again. The lawyer nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. "We will work together to ensure justice prevails," he promised. Elena, the lawyer, and Alex formed a team united by a common goal: to expose Kate and Charles and protect what rightfully belonged to Alex. Every step was meticulously planned, every move carefully executed to avoid raising suspicion. Elena and the lawyer began gathering more evidence, including legal and financial documents that demonstrated Kate and Charles's betrayal. At the same time, Alex continued to strengthen his body, preparing for the day he could finally confront his betrayers. One afternoon, while adjusting Alex's medical equipment, Eleanor whispered to him, "We're almost ready, Alex. Soon you'll be able to face them. Stay strong." With that promise, Alex found renewed strength. He knew the time was approaching, and with Elena and the lawyer's help, he could reclaim his life and protect his legacy. The pact between them was solid, and together they were ready for the final battle that would change their lives forever. Alex and Elena knew that preparation would be key to exposing Kate and Charles. Each day was a constant battle to maintain appearances while gathering the necessary information to ensure a decisive confrontation. Elena made sure Alex received the medical care needed to speed up his physical recovery without raising suspicion. Elena had begun spending more time at the hospital, using her shifts to meticulously review Alex's medical and financial records. She discovered that Kate had started transferring small amounts of money from their joint accounts to a private account. These movements indicated Kate and Charles's premeditation to take Alex's inheritance. One afternoon, while Alex was resting, Elena met with the lawyer in a hospital conference room. "I've found these transfers," Elena said, showing the lawyer the documents she had gathered. "We need to collect more evidence and ensure these transactions are traced." The lawyer nodded. "I will need access to more financial records. If we can prove Kate and Charles are acting with intent to defraud, we will have a solid case." Back in Alex's room, Elena informed him of the progress. "We're making good progress," she said in a low voice. "The lawyer is working on tracing the transactions. We need more time, but we're on the right track." Alex moved his finger to indicate he understood. He knew that each passing day was an opportunity to strengthen his body and mind. He began performing discrete physical exercises under Elena's supervision, slowly gaining the strength he had lost during his convalescence. Meanwhile, Kate continued to visit him regularly, unaware that Alex was conscious and aware of her plans. One morning, while she was on the phone with Charles, Alex heard something that reinforced his determination. "Yes, Charles," Kate said. "The lawyer says everything is in order. We can start transferring the properties soon." Alex felt a mix of anger and determination. He knew time was running out. Kate and Charles were getting closer to executing their plan. He had to act quickly. That same afternoon, Elena brought Alex a small voice recorder. "I want you to have this with you," she said. "We can use it to record any relevant conversation. It will be crucial evidence." Alex nodded slightly, taking the device and discreetly hiding it under his pillow. He knew that every word, every detail counted. Each visit from Kate and each conversation with Charles were opportunities to gather more evidence. As the days passed, Alex found himself on an emotional roller coaster. Although his body was slowly strengthening, the mental and emotional pressure was constant. Pretending to be unconscious while listening to Kate plan her future without him was psychological torture. The moments of solitude in his room felt endless and filled with dark thoughts. One afternoon, while staring at the ceiling, Alex remembered his mother's teachings. She had always told him to be strong, to face adversities with courage. He recalled her words. "Alex, life will put you through tough tests, but never let them defeat you. Get up every time you fall." This memory gave him the strength to keep going. Although despair sometimes overwhelmed him, the idea of fighting for what was his and exposing the betrayal gave him a spark of hope. He knew he had to maintain calm and mental clarity to face what was coming. Sophia, the young nurse, continued to be a ray of light in his life. Unaware that Alex was conscious, she talked to him every day, sharing stories and anecdotes that made him smile internally. Her words of encouragement and constant optimism were a balm for Alex's soul. She had no idea of the crucial role she was playing in his emotional recovery. One day, Sophia arrived with a small potted plant. "I thought you might like something green here," she said, placing it on the table next to Alex's bed. "Plants have always made me feel better, like there's a bit of life and hope nearby." Alex looked at the plant, feeling an unexpected connection to it. It was a simple display of life and resilience, something he was fighting to maintain himself. He moved his finger slightly, a silent thank you to Sophia for her kindness. However, not all moments were comforting. There were days when frustration and anger threatened to overwhelm him. Alex felt trapped, helpless, unable to move or speak. These moments of anguish were the hardest to endure. One night when the hospital was quiet, Alex felt a deep despair. He wanted to scream, move, do something to release the tension he felt, but he knew he had to stay in control. He took a deep breath, remembering his mother's teachings and Elena's words. He focused on his goal, using that determination as an anchor in the midst of the emotional storm. Elena remained his silent ally, supporting him every step of the way. Every time she visited his room, she whispered words of encouragement and reminded him that they were close to achieving their goal. "Stay strong, Alex," she would say. "We're almost there. Soon, all of this will be over." Elena also shared some personal details with Alex, revealing that she had faced betrayals in her own life. Her empathy and understanding were palpable, creating a strong bond between them. These moments of confidence not only strengthened their relationship, but also gave Alex a renewed perspective on resilience and hope. However, their conversation was interrupted by the sudden arrival of Kate, who pushed the room door open forcefully, demonstrating her anger. Seeing the nurse sitting next to Alex, her expression turned to surprise. "Mrs. Kate, good evening," Eleanor said subtly. "Good evening. Excuse me, I didn't know you were here. Is something wrong?" Kate asked, feigning concern. "I need a moment alone with Alex. It will be brief." "Sure, no problem," Elena said, leaving through the door. After closing the door, Kate made sure it was properly shut. It was her last move to secure her plan. Carefully, she approached Alex thinking he was asleep and spoke with finality in her words. "Thank you for everything, my love. Now you can rest in peace while I enjoy what is rightfully mine." She then took out her wallet and took a photo of his ID. Finally, she looked at him and said, "With this inheritance, I'll be able to go to Paris. You have no idea how much I appreciate it." Kate left the room, noticing Eleanor at the end of the hallway, and gave her a falsely polite look. She said goodbye and left the hospital. Eleanor, upon noticing this, re-entered the room and asked Alex pointedly, "Did you get crucial information?" To which Alex, with determination, opened his eyes and gave her a half-smile. "Good. We are ready," declared Elena. The following days were a mix of preparation and reflection. Alex strengthened both physically and mentally, ready for the confrontation that would change his life forever. He knew he had to stay strong, not just for himself, but also for those who had supported him in his fight. The hour of truth was approaching, and Alex was prepared to face it with all the strength and courage he could muster. The sun had barely risen when Alex woke up, aware that this day would mark a turning point in his life. Elena arrived early, with a determined look in her eyes. "Today is the day, Alex," she whispered as she checked his vital signs. "Everything is ready. Are you prepared?" Alex moved his finger slightly, a signal of his determination. He knew that today he would face Kate and Charles, and the mix of nervousness and excitement kept him alert. Eleanor, with her usual care and efficiency, ensured that everything was in order before the big confrontation. The lawyer arrived shortly after, going over the final details with Elena. "We have all the necessary evidence," he said quietly. "Kate and Charles won't be able to escape this." Elena nodded and then turned to Alex. "The lawyer agrees to keep your condition a secret for now. We're going to use it to our advantage." Alex moved his finger to signal his understanding. He knew that pretending was still crucial at this point. A few hours later, Kate arrived at the hospital. She was more impatient than usual, clearly anxious to see the results of her plans. Charles accompanied her, his expression equally tense. Eleanor and the lawyer waited for the right moment to take action. Eleanor called Kate and Charles to the hospital conference room under the pretext of discussing Alex's condition. "It's important that we're all present," she said, maintaining a professional tone. Kate and Charles suspected nothing and followed Elena without question. In the conference room, the lawyer presented several documents on the table. "Mrs. Kate, Mr. Charles," he began, "we've been reviewing some legal and financial matters that require your immediate attention." Kate frowned, but didn't have time to respond before the lawyer continued. "We have substantial evidence of irregular financial movements and communications indicating an attempt at fraud and conspiracy." Charles tried to protest, but the lawyer interrupted him. "Please remain calm. We're here to resolve this fairly. We have all the necessary evidence to proceed legally if required." Kate turned pale. "I don't know what you're talking about," she said, trying to maintain her composure, but her voice betrayed her nervousness. Eleanor, who had remained silent until then, stepped forward. "Kate, we've known all along what you were planning. Alex is conscious and has been listening to every word." The revelation hit like a bombshell. Kate and Charles were left speechless, unable to process what they had just heard. What are you saying?" stammered Kate. Eleanor turned toward the door. "Alex, it's time!" With effort, Alex sat up and slowly entered the conference room, supported by Sophia, who had been informed of the situation and was willing to help. Kate's expression changed from surprise to sheer panic. "Alex," she whispered, unable to find words. Alex, with a firm and determined look, confronted her. "I've heard everything, Kate. Every conversation, every plan. I knew you were betraying me, and I've gathered all the necessary evidence to ensure you don't get away with it." Charles tried to intervene. "This is ridiculous. You have no proof." The lawyer, with unshakable calm, placed a recorder on the table and pressed play. The voices of Kate and Charles planning the division of Alex's inheritance filled the room. There was no way to deny the evidence. Kate, now desperate, made one last appeal to Alex. "Alex, please, it's not what it seems. I only wanted the best for us." Alex looked at her with sadness. "All this time, I thought you loved me. But now I see who you really are." The lawyer intervened again. "Mr. Alex, we've prepared the necessary documents to ensure your inheritance and properties are protected. Kate and Charles will face the legal consequences of their actions." Elena, Sophia, and the lawyer escorted Alex back to his room, letting him rest after the confrontation. Alex, although exhausted, felt immense inner peace. He had faced betrayal and emerged victorious. In the following days, Kate and Charles were arrested and faced a public hearing where they would confront the legal evidence and reveal the truth. Elena continued to visit Alex, helping him in his recovery. Their bond grew stronger, based on trust and mutual respect. Alex knew that the road to full recovery would be long, but he was ready to face it with Elena by his side. The day of the revelation had been only the beginning. Alex had regained his life and dignity, and he was determined to build a better future, free from betrayals and full of hope. The impact of the revelation had left Kate and Charles reeling. As the reality of their actions set in, fear and desperation began to take hold of them. While Alex rested in his room, regaining his strength, the legal and medical team prepared for the next phase of the confrontation. Elena was in the lawyer's office, discussing the final details of the case. "We have enough evidence to proceed," said the lawyer. "Kate and Charles have no chance of escaping the legal consequences, but we need to ensure everything is in order for the hearing." Elena nodded. "Alex is determined to move forward. He has been through so much and deserves justice." Meanwhile, in Alex's room, Sophia was adjusting his IV and checking his vital signs. "Today will be an important day," she said with a reassuring smile. "We're all here to support you." Alex, feeling stronger every day, nodded slightly. He knew that the confrontation was not only crucial for his own justice, but also to close a painful chapter of his life. He was ready to face Kate and Charles once more, this time with the law on his side. The hearing was held in a hospital room adapted for the occasion. The judge, a man of severe and fair expression, sat at the bench, prepared to hear the testimonies and review the evidence. Kate and Charles were present, their faces pale and nervous. Alex's lawyer presented the case calmly and precisely, exposing all the evidence of conspiracy and fraud. "These recordings and financial documents clearly demonstrate Kate and Charles's intent to defraud Alex," said the lawyer, playing the conversations and showing the suspicious bank transfers. "There is no doubt about their guilt." Kate, trying to maintain her composure, attempted to defend herself. "Your Honor, this is a misunderstanding. I never intended to harm Alex. All of this is taken out of context." The judge raised an eyebrow, skeptical. "The evidence is quite clear, ma'am. Do you have anything else to say in your defense?" Charles, sensing the situation was desperate, decided to try another tactic. "Alex, please," he said, addressing him directly. "You know we've always been friends. This got out of hand. It wasn't our intention." Alex, with a steely expression, looked at Charles and then at Kate. "I thought I could trust you, but all you did was betray me and plan my destruction. There are no excuses for what you did." The judge, seeing the firmness in Alex's stance, nodded. "I've heard enough arguments. The evidence presented is compelling. I declare that Kate and Charles are guilty of fraud and conspiracy." Kate let out a choked sob. While Charles closed his eyes, resigned, the judge continued, "I sentence you to face the legal consequences of your actions. Additionally, I order that all of Alex's properties and assets be protected and transferred according to his wishes." With that declaration, the room fell silent. Kate and Charles were escorted out by the authorities, while Alex felt a mix of relief and sadness. Justice had prevailed, but the emotional cost had been high. Elena and Sophia approached Alex, offering their support. "You did it, Alex," said Elena softly. "You can finally start to heal and build a new life." In the following days, Alex focused on his recovery. With Elena's help and Sophia's constant support, he began to regain his strength and spirit. He knew that the road ahead would not be easy, but he was determined to face it with courage and hope. Alex found solace in the idea that, despite the betrayal and pain, he had emerged stronger and wiser. He knew that, with Elena's support and his own inner resources, he was prepared to face any challenge life threw at him. The confrontation had been a crucial step in his path to redemption and recovery, and now, with justice on his side, he was ready to build a future full of hope and possibilities. Kate and Charles faced the legal repercussions of their actions. They were prosecuted, and with the overwhelming evidence against them, they couldn't avoid being convicted. News of their arrest spread quickly, and public opinion soon condemned them as well. Their reputation was destroyed, and with it, any hope of rebuilding their lives honorably. Alex, on the other hand, began to take control of his life and businesses. With the lawyer's help, he reviewed and reinforced all necessary measures to ensure that no further attempts at fraud could occur. Although the process was exhausting, it was also a form of therapy for him. Every step he took to protect his assets was a step toward reclaiming his autonomy and confidence. During this time, Elena became a constant in Alex's life, not just as his doctor but as his confidant and friend. Her daily visits were not limited to medical checkups, but transformed into long conversations about life, Alex's past, and his plans for the future. The connection between them grew stronger each day. One afternoon, as Elena reviewed Alex's latest medical results, she said, "Your progress is impressive, Alex. You're recovering much faster than I expected." Alex smiled, feeling more optimistic than he had in a long time. "Thanks to you and Sophia. I don't know what I would have done without you." Elena looked at him seriously. "You're the one who did the hard work, Alex. We've just been here to support you." Meanwhile, in a cold prison cell, Kate sat on the edge of her bed, staring at the floor. The noise of the guards and other prisoners faded into the background as her thoughts consumed her. Charles, in the adjoining cell, watched her through the bars, noticing the tension in her shoulders and the lost look in her eyes. After a long silence, Charles decided to break the calm. "Kate, how did we get here?" he asked with a tone of incredulity and despair. "How could we ruin everything?" Kate lifted her gaze, her expression hardened by anger and denial. "It's not our fault, Charles," she responded firmly. "This is all Alex's fault. He put us in this situation. If he hadn't been so naive, we wouldn't be here." Charles frowned. "Do you really believe that? We were the ones who planned to take his inheritance. We were the ones who betrayed him. We can't blame Alex for our decisions." Kate abruptly stood up, pacing back and forth in her cell. "You don't understand, Charles. Alex was always the problem. He always had everything and never cared about how it made us feel. We were just trying to make sure we got what we deserved." Charles sighed, feeling the weight of reality on his shoulders. "Kate, we made a mistake. We betrayed someone who trusted us. That's the truth you can't accept." And Kate stopped, her eyes gleaming with a mix of anger and frustration. "No, Charles, I won't accept that. I won't accept that this was all a mistake. We did what we had to do. Alex was weak and didn't deserve what he had. We were just trying to take what was rightfully ours." Charles looked at her with sadness, seeing how denial and pride blinded Kate. "Kate, until we accept what we did, we'll never be able to move on. We need to face the truth." Kate crossed her arms, her expression defiant. "Truth is relative. Charles. And my truth is that Alex betrayed us first by being so blind and trusting. We simply acted accordingly. Charles shook his head, knowing there was no way to change Kate's perspective. Well, I guess everyone has their way of seeing things, but I know we made a grave mistake, and for my part, I'll accept the consequences. Kate turned to him, her gaze cold. Do what you want, Charles, but I won't give up. I'll find a way to get out of here and take back what's mine. Charles sighed, feeling the growing distance between them. I hope someday you can see the truth, Kate, because until you do, you'll remain a prisoner of your own mistakes. As the hours passed in the cold cell, Kate clung to her version of reality, unable to accept responsibility for her actions. Charles, on the other hand, began to reflect on his decisions and the consequences they had brought. He knew the path to redemption would be long and difficult, but he was willing to face it. At that moment, Kate began to reflect on her life lived with Alex. Kate and Alex had been an enviable couple. At least it seemed that way from the outside. Their story began years ago when they were both young and full of dreams. One sunny afternoon in a park near the university, where they both studied, Alex was sitting on a bench, reading an economics book, while Kate was walking her dog, a small golden retriever named Max. Max, being a curious dog, broke free from the leash and ran straight towards Alex, knocking the book out of his hands. "Max, come back here!" Kate shouted, running after her mischievous dog. Alex, surprised but amused, picked up the book and Max's collar. "Looks like someone has a lot of energy," he said, looking at Kate with a smile. Kate, a little embarrassed, smiled back. "I'm so sorry. Max is always causing trouble." "No problem," Alex replied, petting the dog. "In fact, it's a good way to meet new people." And so began their friendship. Kate and Alex met more often in the park, talking about their studies, dreams, and aspirations. Alex was a dedicated student, focused on building a solid career. Kate, on the other hand, studied art and had a more bohemian view of life. Their differences, instead of separating them, complemented each other. One night, after one of their usual walks with Max, Alex invited Kate to dinner. "I found a little Italian restaurant that I think you would love," he said, his eyes shining with enthusiasm. Kate accepted, and that night became one of the most memorable of their lives. Between laughs and deep conversations, they realized there was something special between them. Kate adored Alex's passion for his work and his clear vision of the future. Alex, in turn, was fascinated by Kate's creativity and free spirit. Over time, their friendship transformed into love. Alex asked Kate to be his girlfriend at a romantic dinner under the stars in the same park where they had met. "I can't imagine my life without you," he said, his voice filled with emotion. "Will you be my partner, Kate?" Kate, with tears of happiness in her eyes, answered with a resounding yes. From that moment on, they were inseparable. They shared countless happy moments, from spontaneous trips to the beach to quiet nights at home, watching movies and dreaming about the future. Alex supported Kate in her artistic projects, attending all her exhibitions and celebrating her achievements. Kate, in turn, was by his side at each of Alex's professional milestones, encouraging him and providing the emotional support he needed. A few years later, Alex proposed to Kate on a trip to Paris. Under the Eiffel Tower, with the city's lights shining around them, Alex knelt down and pulled out a ring. "Kate, you are the love of my life. Will you marry me and share all our futures together?" Kate, with her heart full of joy, accepted without hesitation. They got married in an intimate ceremony, surrounded by family and friends. It was a day filled with love and promises of a bright future. The marriage between Alex and Kate began with promises of eternal love and shared dreams. However, as the years went by, daily life and external pressures began to erode the foundation of their relationship. After their wedding, Alex and Kate returned to their lives in the city. Alex, ambitious and determined, immersed himself deeply in his work. His days were filled with meetings, business trips, and long hours at the office. Although his professional success grew, the time he dedicated to Kate decreased significantly. Kate, on the other hand, had put her artistic career on hold to support Alex and manage household responsibilities. At first, she was happy to do so, believing that her sacrifices were for the sake of their marriage and future together. But as time passed, she began to feel isolated and undervalued. One afternoon, while Alex was reviewing some documents in his office, Kate approached with a smile. "Would you like to go out for dinner tonight? There's a new restaurant I'd love to try." Alex, without looking up from his papers, replied distractedly, "I'm sorry, Kate. I have a lot of work. Can we do it another day?" This response, which was repeated countless times, began to wear down Kate's patience and spirit. The romantic dinners and nights of laughter became a distant memory. Instead, Kate spent many nights alone, wondering if they would ever regain the spark that had brought them together. Kate's loneliness led her to seek solace in other activities. She returned to her art, but the passion was no longer the same. Her works reflected her frustration and sadness, something that Alex, engrossed in his business world, did not notice. The emotional distance between them grew wider and wider. Arguments became more frequent. "Why do you always have time for your work, but never for us?" Kate asked, her voice filled with desperation. "I'm doing this for us, Kate, to ensure a good future," Alex would respond, not understanding that what Kate needed was not financial security, but his presence and attention. One day, in the middle of one of their frequent arguments, Alex received an urgent call from his business partner, Charles. "I'm sorry, but I have to go," said Alex, leaving Kate alone once again. Charles, who had been a close friend of Alex since their university days, began to notice Kate's discontent. Taking advantage of her vulnerability, he started getting closer to her, offering a sympathetic ear and a constant presence. "I understand what you're going through, Kate," Charles would say, with a soft and understanding voice. "Alex is so busy with his work that he doesn't realize what he's losing." Charles's words resonated with Kate, who felt increasingly lonely and misunderstood. They started spending more time together, first as friends and then as something more. Charles filled the void that Alex had left, and Kate, in her desperation, began to trust him more than she should. The relationship with Charles became an escape valve for Kate. He offered her the attention and support she felt was lacking in her marriage. As their connection deepened, Charles began planting seeds of distrust and resentment towards Alex. "Why do you keep putting up with this, Kate? You deserve to be happy," Charles would say, slowly poisoning her thoughts. Consumed by bitterness and the betrayal she felt, Kate began planning with Charles how they could take Alex's inheritance and businesses. In her mind, she justified her actions as an act of justice. "Alex ignored and belittled me for years. It's time, and I took what I deserve." The conversations between Kate and Charles became increasingly sinister. They planned how to get rid of Alex and divide his assets. Kate, blinded by rage and resentment, did not see the gravity of what they were doing. She believed her pain justified her actions. The betrayal culminated when Alex had the accident that left him in a coma. Instead of worrying about his well-being, Kate saw an opportunity. With Charles's help, she began moving funds and planning how to take everything. Kate convinced herself that she was doing the right thing. "He never valued me. He never realized what he had until it was too late. I'm just taking what is rightfully mine." The combination of Charles's ambition and Kate's bitterness created a perfect storm that led them to commit acts of betrayal they never would have imagined at the beginning of their relationship. Meanwhile, Alex, in his unconscious state, had no idea of the machinations developing around him. But, as previously revealed, his awakening and Elena's help foiled Kate and Charles's plans, leading them to face the consequences of their actions. The story of Kate and Alex is a tragedy of how a lack of communication and emotional neglect can destroy a relationship, leading it to a point of no return. Although they both started with love and promises of a future together, the decisions they made and the circumstances they faced led them down a path of destruction and betrayal. Having recalled all their beginnings, tears began to gather in Kate's eyes as she remembered Charles. She recalled how he had taken advantage of her vulnerability, offering the attention and support she felt Alex had denied her. As the tears continued to fall, Kate felt a deep sadness for the harm she had caused. "Alex, I'm sorry," she whispered into the empty air. I'm so sorry for everything I did. I never wanted it to end this way." Amid her crying, Kate realized that the only way to find some peace was to accept full responsibility for her actions. She knew that the path to redemption would be long and difficult, but she also knew that she couldn't continue living in denial. That night, as the tears finally dried and exhaustion overcame her, Kate made a silent promise. She promised to face her mistakes, accept the consequences of her actions, and somehow try to find a path to forgiveness, starting with forgiving herself. Kate fell asleep on the cold cell floor, embraced by solitude, but with a new determination in her heart. She knew she could never undo the past, but she could try to build a future where her mistakes didn't define who she was. Far from the prison, Alex continued his recovery, surrounded by the support of Eleanor and his new life. Although the emotional scars would take time to heal, he knew he had taken control of his destiny and was determined to live with integrity and purpose. He could finally breathe easily. Without the pressure of legal proceedings and with his inheritance protected, Alex decided to focus on something much more personal, enjoying life and sharing his fortune with those who had supported him during his darkest moments. One afternoon, while walking through the hospital garden with Elena, Alex expressed his thoughts. "I've spent so much time worrying about protecting what's mine and the betrayal that I forgot what really matters, enjoying life and being with people who are worth it." Elena, with a warm smile, nodded. "You're right, Alex. You've worked hard, and you deserve to enjoy your inheritance and the company of people who truly appreciate you." Alex decided it was time to celebrate life and second chances. His first step was to organize a grand appreciation party at his house, inviting everyone who had helped him during his recovery. Sophia, Eleanor, the lawyer, and other close friends and family joined him in an evening that celebrated not only his victory, but also life and friendship. Alex's house, which had been empty and gloomy for so long, was filled with laughter and lively conversations. The garden was transformed into a meeting place full of lights and soft music, creating a cozy and festive atmosphere. Surrounded by people he cared about, Alex felt more alive than ever. During the party, Alex made a toast, raising his glass with gratitude. "I want to thank all of you for standing by my side. Not only did you help me reclaim what was mine, but you also taught me the true value of friendship and support. This celebration is for all of us." Sophia, emotional, approached Alex after the toast. "You are an inspiration, Alex. I'm so happy to see you enjoying life again." Alex smiled and hugged her. "I couldn't have done it without you, Sophia. Your kindness and care were crucial to my recovery." After that ceremony, Alex found himself in a park. He remembered the early days of his marriage to Kate, the happy moments, and the promises of eternal love they made during their wedding. It now seemed like a distant, almost unreal memory. "How did we get to this?" he asked quietly, feeling a mix of sadness and resignation. He knew he couldn't solely blame Kate. He also had to accept his part in the deterioration of their relationship. The long workdays, the nights he came home late, and the times he put his professional ambitions above his marriage. He remembered how, over time, he had stopped paying attention to Kate's emotional needs, convinced that his professional success was enough to ensure their happiness together. "I was so focused on building a secure future," he reflected, "that I forgot the most important thing was the present, was being there for her." Alex remembered the arguments, the times Kate had tried to reach out and he had rejected her, preoccupied with his projects and meetings. He remembered her expression of sadness and disappointment, a look he had overlooked too many times. As memories flooded his mind, Alex felt a pang of guilt. "I should have listened. I should have been more present," he thought. Kate didn't need more money or security. She needed her husband, her partner. However, as he reflected, Alex also realized that clinging to guilt wouldn't change the past. "I can't undo what happened," he told himself, "but I can learn from it." Alex looked up, watching the sun slowly set behind the trees, bathing the landscape in a warm, golden glow. He understood that he had the opportunity to start anew, to live a full and meaningful life. The passive full of listens to see. betrayal, but I've also found a new perspective and new hopes. He remembered Elena, his doctor and now close friend, who had been by his side during his recovery. Her constant support and ability to listen had helped him heal, both physically and emotionally. Alex knew that life had given him a second chance, not just to rebuild himself, but also to help others. He put down his coffee cup and stood up, breathing deeply the fresh evening air. He promised himself that he wouldn't let the past define his future. There was too much to live for, too many experiences to enjoy, and too many people to help. With a lighter heart and clearer mind, Alex entered the cabin, ready to move forward. He knew the road ahead wouldn't always be easy, but he also knew he was prepared to face it with courage and gratitude. Life had taught him valuable lessons, and he was determined to apply those lessons to build a future full of love, hope, and purpose. Alex had found his path, and he was ready to enjoy every step of the journey. The following days were filled with activities and adventures that Alex had postponed for a long time. With Elena by his side, they explored the city, enjoying dinners at elegant restaurants, walks in parks, and visits to museums. Every moment together strengthened their bond and allowed them to enjoy life without worries. One weekend, Alex organized a beach trip for his closest friends and family. He rented a beautiful villa by the sea where everyone could relax and enjoy the sun and sand. The laughter and games on the beach, the outdoor dinners and the conversations under the stars created unforgettable memories for everyone. One afternoon, while watching the sunset from the villa's terrace, Alex took Eleanor's hand. "This is the beginning of something new for me," he said. "I want to keep sharing my life and my inheritance with the people who matter to me. Thank you for being by my side." Elena, her eyes shining, replied, "I will always be here, Alex. Let's enjoy every moment together." Alex also decided to support the dreams and aspirations of those who had helped him. With his fortune, he financed Sophia's studies, allowing her to advance in her nursing career and specialize in intensive care. He also helped other friends and family members start their own businesses, providing the financial and moral support they needed to achieve their goals. Alex's life transformed into a balance between enjoying his inheritance and giving back to those who had stood by him. He found happiness in the small things, in shared moments, and in the smiles of the people he loved. His home, once filled with shadows and painful memories, became a place full of love, laughter, and hope. Over time, Alex and Elena deepened their relationship, finding in each other an ideal life partner. Together, they explored the world, faced new challenges, and celebrated every victory, big or small. Their love and friendship became the pillar on which they built a full and happy life. Alex's recovery not only meant overcoming betrayal, but also rediscovering the true meaning of life and the importance of surrounding oneself with valuable people. With his inheritance and new purpose, Alex found the peace and happiness he had sought for so long, enjoying every day to the fullest and sharing his fortune with those who truly mattered. With his life back in order and surrounded by people who truly appreciated him, Alex decided it was time to take a break and enjoy a dream vacation. He had always dreamed of visiting Hawaii, and now, with his new perspective on life, he knew it was the perfect time to do it. He decided to invite Elena and Sophia, who had been fundamental pillars in his recovery, to share this experience with him. A few days later, the trio found themselves aboard a private plane bound for Hawaii. Excitement and anticipation filled the air. Alex, looking out the plane window, felt rejuvenated and full of life. "This is going to be incredible," he said with a radiant smile. Elena, sitting next to him, took his hand. "You deserve it, Alex. This is the start of a new adventure." Upon landing in Hawaii, they were greeted by the warm ocean breeze and a clear sky. They headed to a luxurious resort on Waikiki Beach, where every detail had been designed to provide maximum comfort and relaxation. The master suite had a spectacular ocean view, and Alex immediately felt at peace hearing the gentle murmur of the waves. The days in Hawaii were a perfect mix of relaxation and adventure. In the mornings, they enjoyed a hearty breakfast on the resort's terrace, followed by walks on the beach and swims in the crystal-clear sea. Alex and Elena delighted in long walks along the coast, while Sophia explored the nearby coral reef with her snorkeling gear. One afternoon, they decided to take a catamaran excursion to watch dolphins and sea turtles. As they sailed through the turquoise waters, Alex was overwhelmed by the beauty and tranquility of the place. "This is paradise," he said with a satisfied smile. "I couldn't have imagined a better place to disconnect." Elena, enjoying the sun, nodded. "Hawaii has a magical way of making you feel alive and connected to nature." Their vacation was filled with moments of joy and discovery, each experience adding to the sense of renewal and hope that Alex felt. Hawaii became a symbol of the new life he was building, a life filled with gratitude, love, and the promise of endless possibilities. As their time in Hawaii came to an end, Alex, Elena, and Sophia returned home with hearts full of cherished memories and a renewed sense of purpose. Alex knew that the journey ahead would still have its challenges, but he was confident that, with the support of those he loved, he could face anything that came his way. In the years that followed, Alex continued to live his life with integrity and generosity, never forgetting the lessons he had learned. Surrounded by true friends and a deep sense of gratitude, he embraced each new day with enthusiasm and joy, always mindful of the importance of living a life filled with purpose and connection. During one of the nights, they attended an authentic Hawaiian luau, where they enjoyed local cuisine and impressive dance and traditional music performances. Alex, Elena, and Sophia joined the locals on the dance floor, laughing and celebrating under the stars. It was a night full of joy and camaraderie. One day, Alex and Elena decided to hike to the crater of Diamond Head volcano. The hike was challenging, but the view from the top was worth every effort. From there, they could see the expanse of Honolulu and the vast Pacific Ocean. "This place is incredible," Alex said, taking Elena's hand. "Thank you for being here with me." Elena smiled, her eyes shining with affection. "There's no other place I'd rather be." Sophia, who had reached the summit a few minutes earlier, joined them with an enthusiastic smile. "Let's take a photo to remember this moment." The days in Hawaii continued to be filled with unforgettable experiences, from visiting historic Pearl Harbor to exploring the lush rainforest on the island of Kauai. Each moment was a new opportunity to create memories and strengthen their bonds. On a quiet afternoon, while resting in a double hammock on the beach, Alex and Elena talked about their future plans. "I've been thinking a lot about what I want to do next," Alex said. "I want to keep exploring the world, enjoying what life has to offer, and I'd love for you to be by my side." Elena looked at him tenderly. "Nothing would make me happier, Alex. We've been through so much together, and I'm ready for any adventure that comes our way." Sophia, approaching with 2 fresh coconuts, joined the conversation. "I can't wait to see what else the future holds for us. This trip has been amazing, and I'm so grateful to be part of it." Alex raised his coconut in an impromptu toast to new adventures, friendship, and love. May we always find joy in every moment. The vacation in Hawaii was a resounding success, a time of healing, joy, and rediscovery. Alex realized that although he had suffered betrayals and challenges, life still had much to offer him. With Elena and Sophia by his side, he felt ready to face whatever the future held, confident that true wealth was found in human connections and shared moments. Returning from Hawaii, Alex was filled with energy and optimism. He had learned to value each day and appreciate the blessings life had given him. With Elena and Sophia by his side, he was ready for any adventure the future presented, knowing that together they could face any challenge and find happiness in every step of the way. Upon returning from the idyllic vacation in Hawaii, Alex felt that his life had come full circle. The experiences shared with Elena and Sophia, along with the paradisiacal landscapes, had left an indelible mark on his heart. He was ready to close a chapter of his life and begin a new one, full of hope and possibilities. One afternoon, while relaxing in his garden, Alex decided to organize an intimate dinner with the people who had been crucial in his recovery journey. Under a starry sky and surrounded by the fragrant flowers of his garden, Alex, Elena, and Sophia gathered for one last celebration of friendship, love, and resilience. During the dinner, Alex took a moment to reflect on everything he had experienced. He raised his glass and looked at his friends with a smile full of gratitude. "I want to thank both of you for being by my side during the darkest moments of my life. Without your support, I don't know how I would have made it through." Elena, with a warm smile, replied, "Alex, it's been an honor to be with you on this journey. You've shown incredible strength and have inspired us all." Sophia nodded. "You are an example of resilience and courage, Alex. I'm very grateful to have been a part of your life." Alex was moved by their words. "I've learned so much during this time," he said. "The betrayals of Kate and Charles were painful, but they also taught me something valuable: the importance of true human connections. Sometimes it's necessary to go through the fire to discover what really matters." Elena took Alex's hand. "That's true. Through difficulties, we find the strength to move forward and value moments of happiness more," Sophia added. "And we also learn to surround ourselves with people who genuinely care about us. That's true wealth." Alex nodded, feeling a deep inner peace. "I've discovered that life isn't just about material possessions, but about shared experiences and meaningful relationships. My inheritance isn't just money, but also the lessons learned and the moments lived with you." Elena smiled. "Let's keep creating memories together, Alex. The future is full of possibilities." Sophia raised her glass in a final toast. "To the future, to friendship, and to true love. May we always find joy in each day." The dinner continued with laughter and pleasant conversations, each of them appreciating the simplicity and beauty of being together. As the candles slowly burned out, Alex felt more grateful than ever for second chances and for the people who had helped him rediscover life. Later, while walking through the garden with Eleanor, Alex paused to gaze at the stars. "Eleanor," he said quietly, "I've found the peace and happiness I was looking for. Thank you for being by my side every step of the way." Elena looked at him tenderly. "I'll always be here, Alex. We've overcome so much together, and I'm excited about what the future holds for us." Alex smiled, knowing that no matter what challenges came, he had Elena and Sophia by his side. Life had taught him that, although he sometimes faced darkness, there was always light at the end of the tunnel. With each sunrise came a new opportunity to find joy and meaning. As they entered the house again, Alex felt a profound sense of fulfillment. He had transformed his life, not just surviving the trials he had faced, but also finding purpose and a new way of living. With Elena by his side and Sophia as an unconditional friend, Alex was ready to face whatever life brought, knowing he had found the true meaning of wealth, human connections, love, and the joy of living each day to the fullest. The story of Alex, Kate, and Elena is a testament to the complexities of love, betrayal, and redemption. It's a narrative that highlights how the decisions we make and the actions we take can have profound and lasting repercussions on our lives and those around us. Love is a powerful force, but it is also fragile. It requires care, attention, and above all, communication. In his relationship with Kate, Alex focused so much on providing and securing a financial future that he neglected the emotional needs and daily connection that kept their relationship alive. Kate, feeling ignored and undervalued, allowed resentment and bitterness to cloud her judgment, leading her to destructive decisions. Alex's journey toward recovery and his relationship with Elena underline the importance of learning from past mistakes. It shows us that, although the path to redemption can be painful, it is possible to find peace and happiness by facing our flaws and actively working to improve. And that's the story of Alex, Kate, and Elena. I hope you enjoyed this journey full of emotions, betrayals, and redemption. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to not miss our next stories. See you in the next video. Take care, and see you soon.